So one thing that I can't do is not show up. And I don't mean show up for other people. I need to show up for myself. I have the understanding now, after speaking with one of my sisters and a brother and a good spiritual friend of mine, that my grieving process was put on hold 9 years ago when I had to begin that plight with the state of Louisiana to get them to start the trial for the person that murdered my son. Reminder, the person who murdered my son, he's the one who opted for trial. But shenanigans, am I having a hot flash? Shenanigans and all that other stuff that went into place was delaying it. So I've been in fight mode, and the grieving process will stop. So now the trial has happened and it's over. I am grieving. And I do know that grief brings depression, anxiety, and all other type of stuff that goes with it, and all other type of stuff that goes with that. And I already have military PTSD, so I deal with that. That brings its own anxiety, depression, and other things for that. So one thing that I have to do in realizing that is knowing that I have to show up, and not for other people, but for myself. I have to get up. I have to dress myself. I have to, still be about business. I still have to live. And one thing that I don't like doing is laying in the bed. Now, yeah, I have my days, where I lay down and chill out and don't do nothing, where I rest, just have peace of mind, just time for myself, things that I like to do for myself. But even than that, I still have to, which one I go with? I still have to get up and get dressed. I have to dress myself. I just can't lay around and die. I don't want to live in grief. I always grieve my son because I don't have him anymore. But I just can't live in the grief. I'll always miss him. That's always going to hurt. Yep, there's going to be times when I cry. Yeah, there's going to be times when I be depressed. And yeah, there's going to be times when anxiety kicks in there. But I just can't not live. I just can't allow myself to go down. I just can't allow myself to be the face of grief. That's not what's going on here. I'm not doing that. I still have breath in me, and I still have life in me. And I think I'm about to have a hot flash. Girl, go on my business. Because I'm getting dressed. Whatever you think going on, it ain't finna happen. So I still have to keep going. And part of keeping going is getting up. Unfortunately, I don't have my oldest son anymore. But I still have my youngest son. And I have my grandson. And there are things to be done. And I support my son, in caring for his son. When he has to work, I'm in place to, get grandson where he needs to be, or, just care for him. Because we don't do daycare around here. I had to do that with my children, and I made that a point. Like, Lord, however you bless me, however it's done, please keep me in place to support my son so that his son does not go to daycare. Because I've had my ups and downs with daycares, and when I learned I was going to be a grandmother, that's one of the things came to mind. Like, no, he's not going to a daycare. That's out. So I make sure I'm in place for that. And yeah, there are times, when I have grandson, that I'm in a funk. I don't feel good. I might have some depression or anxiety on me. But even in that, I still have to function. Grandson, he don't know nothing about that. He knows his uncle was murdered, and he knows sometimes his granny gets sad, but he doesn't understand the full totality of it. So I have to keep moving and being in place for my son to, help him with his son. That is a way of me keeping going. So yes, am I grieving? Yes. Am I depressed? Yes. Do I have anxiety? Yes. I have all that going on the inside, but I don't have to look like that on the outside. So I continue to show up. And I show up for myself. That way I can show up for someone else. But I have to show up for myself first.